Hey everyone, it is Saturday night, or actually I guess it's technically Sunday morning. I just got done with the regional license exam today and I made it to 11th place. And so I thought I would go over my journey to top cuts. I think it's a really interesting one that you might find a little fascinating. I'll go over the list a little bit and then each of the matchups and kind of some key plays and how I won the matchups as best as I can remember right now. I'm obviously not going to remember everything currently, and I'm just doing this on the fly. So let's go. My journey to top cuts. I think I actually had one of the strongest strength of schedules out of anybody in the event. I think my opponent's win percentage was like 70% or something just crazy high. So I never had a round where it was like, oh, this is an easy win. I can kind of turn my brain off. Each one of my rounds were nail biters, and it was just a fascinating day. So here's my list. If you keep up with my videos, you'll know that I made a deck profile of this list about 2 weeks ago, and I won my my 10-person provisional store championship with it just last weekend. And I made the video on it about a week before that. There's only 2 changes in the main board for this. There's 3 changes in the main board for this list compared to the one that I had done the deck profile on before. And please go watch that deck profile video. It goes really in depth into the strategy behind this list. You know, it might be tempting to say, oh, it's just another good punches Mirio Tagada list. But I looked at the other Mirio lists that made top cuts, and my deck list is actually quite different. I think from the other Mirios I saw, I didn't see anybody else even running Rejuvenating Smash, and I'm running that at a 3x. So my deck is quite different. And if you want the in-depth strategy, go back and watch my previous video. But let me go over just some of the very basics here. First, let me go over the changes. The changes that I made since my video were I took out a copy of Self-Sacrifice and I took out a copy of Male Bonding, and I added in To the Rescue and Lost in Thought. I added these in for more card control and turning off cards like Cooperation Offer, cards like Tape that can really mess with Mirio's game plan. And I found these to be absolutely critical today. In fact, To the Rescue, I know I won 2 games on the back of this card. So I'm very, very happy that I made these changes. The reason they're each at a 1x and there's not just one of them at a 2x is because I couldn't make up my mind which I liked more. To the Rescue, I liked that it was at a response speed. And Lost in Thought, I liked that I could pick up a face down card and maybe pick up an attack or pick up the right block zone. And then the other thing about To the Rescue is I'm running a lot of high blocks already in this deck, and To the Rescue is a low block. So I ended up just going one of each. I think that was absolutely perfect, and I really liked this lineup. Obviously, the main foundation we're focusing on, or 20 of our 30 foundations are spam foundations. We're looking to build very, very aggressively because we're looking to destroy our rival before they set up their defense. And we're running 4x Raiding the Villain Hideout. I think this card absolutely makes this deck. Everything runs through this engine. I would try to mulligan into Raiding the Villain Hideout every time, because if you have a Lemillion of the Big 3 on stage and you have a Raiding the Villain Hideout on stage, then every single attack is getting +1 speed, +5 damage. And that's just insane. And then on the attack lineup, we are focused on drawing cards like crazy. Hardened Jab draws us 1 from our stage. Valiant Assault draws us 2. Back Alley draws us 1. Rejuvenating Smash draws us 2. So almost every single one of our attacks is drawing cards. And then 4x Capture Evildoers. I'm always making sure that Mirio has the momentum. On offense, I really want this EX3 Rejuvenating Smash. And Rejuvenating Smash is going to get us momentum for itself if Raiding the Villain's Hideout is out, so that you can discard a card for Raiding the Villain's Hideout and then use Rejuvenating Smash to get your momentum. So I really wanted lots of momentum for Rejuvenating Smash. I had several games where I won off the back of a 15-20 speed Rejuvenating Smash. And then I wanted the defense, of course. I mean, the momentum, of course, for defense. As for my sideboard, I put this together yesterday. I put in Toru Hagakude for Overhaul, pretty specifically Overhaul and Fourth Kind, and decks like that where you can really trip the... and Future is now Jiro. So those are the decks I wanted to side in Toru 2. Future Jiro, Fourth Kind, Overhaul. I wanted to focus because like Overhaul on life especially, has a ton of answers to Mirio. You're getting Faith Shield, you're getting Wall Cling, you're getting Cooperation Offer, you're getting Evade and Copy. You're just getting a ton of answers. So the benefit of Toru 2 is that instead of changing the zone and doing that, she's adding to the block of the rival, which is better than just adding speed, because then even things like evade and copy can't get through a Toru 2. You're still adding to the block modifier of the evade and copy. And then All Might 3 I put in here for the Eraserhead 1 and Momo 1 matchups. I actually sideboarded into the All Might 3 and Toru 2 a lot today, way more than I expected. I want to say like 7 times. So I'll go into why I sided, and then if I would have sided again in that same matchup, or if I would have just stuck with Mirio. And the answer is pretty 50-50. One thing is, I just don't have the practice on All Might 3 to justify siding this character. I find the character really boring. No offense to All Might 3 and All Might 3 fans. I just find him really boring, so I've never been interested in him. So I haven't had a lot of practice on him. The one Evil for Good was for Rejuvenating Smash decks and Specialized Soundwaves decks. The one for All was for Recovery Girl decks and decks that really rely on their character being readied. And then the 2 Texas Smash I would put in anytime I sideboard into Toru and All Might, because whenever you side into these characters, you're going for more speed, but you're not getting the damage pump of Mirio. So you need to get more damage pump from Texas Smash. And of course, I would take out Phantom Threat for Texas Smash, because Phantom Threat is a Mirio-only attack. I was putting in the 2 evaded copies specifically for the Mirio mirror match. And then the 2 You're So Obvious, I would side in every time I was going second. So whenever I would go second, I would take 2 male bondings out and put in 2 You're So Obvious. I actually found myself kind of regretting that I wasn't running at least one of these main board, because this deck builds so quickly that 3 male bondings was definitely overkill. Or maybe in the main board I should have done 2 male bondings and 4 high value targets, because this card came in such handy on defense. So that's an overview of the list. That was way longer than I expected to review that list. Again, if you want the in-depth explanation, go back to my earlier video. So in round 1, I played Izuku Midoriya 1, and I actually lost game 1 of this round. I lost game 1 because he got me down to under 10 health, and then he played a move to where it was lethal, so I had to use Mirio to take the damage to 0, and then he discarded his hand and added the 10. So he played really, really well, just got me round 1. And round 1, I couldn't draw, game 1, I couldn't draw attacks to save my life. I was almost kind of worried that like I'd forgotten to put the attacks in my list, like in my deck, because I was like, how am I not drawing any of these? So game 1 was very frustrating for my deck, and then my opponent played really, really well, and I lost game 1. Game 2, I very quickly won, and then game 3, we actually went all the way into overtime, and I had a You're So Obvious on board and 4 other foundations. He used a Heroic Strike, stunned 4, so I did everything except for You're So Obvious, and then he discarded his hand to give it plus 10 damage. I think he might have just not seen that I had a You're So Obvious on the stage. That's my only explanation, really. So I used You're So Obvious, took it back down to printed, and survived. And then the next turn, which is overtime my last turn, he was at like 9 health. I drew only 1 attack, but because he had discarded his hand with Deku 1, I got the win. I played the Phantom Threat. I got it up to 9 damage and took round 1. So round 1, my heart was beating like crazy, and I very nearly lost that round and got off to a horrible start. The Deku list was running this really interesting combo that I just want to highlight here. He's using this flurry of punches to give his next move 3-3. Then he would use Futures Now to give it another 2-2, so now it's getting 5-5. Then on the flurry of punches, he would be flipping Now It's Your Turn to give his next attack 4 damage. And then he would, of course, discard his hand when on the next attack, because it would be super, super fast and super strong. So by the time the next attack came in, the next attack would come in with like 5 speed and 20 damage by the end of it. And it was just a really, really cool combo. Very reminiscent of the All Might for True Form combo list. Round 2, I actually played the, Salvador on his Toru 2 list. Salvador just won the Pasadena Regional License Exam, and it seemed like he was playing a list that was very, very similar. There were probably some updates for Set 5, but he would know more about the updates that were made since Pasadena than I would. And I got the win here, and I stayed Mirio both times. I actually, on game 2, I won, I think, on turn 2, because I went, this is my favorite attack line. Phantom Threat, put it in my momentum, then like Rejuvenating Smash, Valiant Assault, and then capture. Oh, and on Rejuvenating Smash, you got the momentum from using Raiding the Villain's Hideout. Then you use that momentum with Capture Evildoers to clear your card pool, and then you play 3 more attacks. So by the end of it, you're playing 6 attacks on turn 2, and with Mirio, all of them are getting 4 or 5 damage. So I got really, really lucky in that when I did my Capture Evildoers card pool clear, I didn't have a ready foundation, and I played 2 more attacks and checked 5s on both. And check 5s take lives. Round 3, I played Anthony 2, who got 2nd place in Pasadena. So round 2, I played the champion of the Pasadena RLE. Round 3, I'm playing the person who got 2nd place at the Pasadena RLE. Like, what are the odds of this? This is crazy. And he was also playing almost the exact same list as the Pasadena list. The future is now Jiro. So I won quickly on game 1. And then game 2, I sided into Toru 2 for the Future is Now Jiro matchup. And then I won again on Toru 2 and went 2-0. All right, round 4. This is after the lunch break, and I played Jose Norono on his Death Eraserhead 1 list. Eraserhead is obviously a horrible matchup for Mirio. If you watched my earlier video on how to beat Mirio, you'll know that Eraserhead 1 was the primary character to do it. Eraserhead 1 and possibly All Might 7, since All Might 7 can turn off Mirio after 3 blocks. So this was just a horrible matchup. In game 2, I sided into All Might 3. I would have won game 2 had I drawn a single attack when I used Back Alley Haymaker to draw, and then All Might 3 to draw 2 more cards. And out of the 3 cards I drew, I didn't draw any attacks. So I came up 1 attack short, and then Jose blew me up on the backswing. So Jose beat me 2-0. Just an incredible player. Jose was actually the person who knocked me out of Nats last year. I was I was 5-2 on my Nomu list, on my Earth Nomu list, and he beat me with a 7-hander Kamui. He beat me with playing Kamui Woods and knocked me out of Top Cuts for Nationals last year in round. That was round 8. And it's just funny that in Nationals, Jose knocks me out playing a 7-hand size control character against my 50 deck size Funny Punch deck, and then today Jose once again beats me playing a 7-hand size control character, and I'm playing a 50 deck size Funny Punch deck. So the more things change, the more things stay the same. Someday I'll win. All right, round 5, I played a Life Overhaul. This is one of those matchups that I was scared about, also with Mirio, because Overhaul gets to fish for blocks from his stage. So the Mirio zone changing doesn't make as big a difference. Secondly, the Life and Evil symbols get a lot of anti-Mirio cards. So this matchup, I was not looking forward to. Luckily, I won game 1 very quickly. And then game 2, I sided into Toru 2. Overhaul still beat me game 2. And then game 3, I stuck it out with Toru 2, and I won in game 3. Looking back on it, I'm not sure I would have sided into Toru 2 against Overhaul. It made too much sense yesterday when I was thinking through my sideboard. I was thinking, oh, I'm going to force Overhaul to play on Progressive. He doesn't get to use that anymore. And that's strong. But you know what's also strong? Mirio taking a damage of an attack to 0. Like, that's also strong. And Mirio is a stronger offensive card and can kill Overhaul before Overhaul establishes his stage. Once Overhaul builds to like 15 foundations, it's just over. He's such a powerful control character. So, Momo Yaoyorozu. So, what I find interesting about these matches is round 3, I sided into Toru. Round 4, I sided into All Might. Round 5, I sided into Toru. Then we get round 6. I was playing a Momo list. And round 1, I won pretty quickly. That's a pretty common theme. Round 1, especially if I win the die roll, I'm pretty good at just taking it down quick. I mean, Mirio's pretty good at just taking it down quickly, especially if you draw a Phantom Threat combined with a Rejuvenating Smash, and you got a Raiding the Villain's Hideout on turn 1, and you drew a Capture Evildoers. Like, you can just play so many attacks with incredible damage pump on turn 2 with Mirio. So game 1, I got it. Game 2, I sided into All Might 3 against this character. Despite dominating game 1 with Mirio, I sided into All Might 3 because I knew that other people said All Might 3 is a difficult matchup for Momo. But the problem with this was that Momo was actually having a much easier time blocking me as All Might 3 than she was when I was Mirio. And then she actually beat me game 2 by milling me out because I'm only playing a 52 card Mirio list. And so I can't play control and I'm playing a 52 card list that draws 1 billion cards. It doesn't take that many turns to mill my deck out. So that's what happened in game 2. I scooped, it probably would have taken another 10 minutes to mill my deck out, but I saw what was happening and I scooped. And we went to game 3. I went first. I sided into Mirio and I won very, very quickly again. So would I side into All Might 3 against Momo again? Heck no. I will not make that mistake again. Maybe against Eraserhead, All Might 3 is still the way to go. I might still side into All Might 3 versus Eraserhead. But against Momo, it was definitely a mistake. So that means 4 straight matches where I was siding out a Mirio in round 2, or in game 2. And then round 5, oops, I duplicated this. This is actually should say round 7. Pay no attention to this round 5. It should say round 7. Round 7, I played another Overhaul. This time I played Travis Tangement, and he was on Earth Overhaul. And this time I had a much harder time, which I was kind of surprised because I thought Life Overhaul would be the stronger build. But we saw multiple Overhauls top this event, and they were all on the Earth symbol. So I'll have to take the L on that one. I was just wrong about Life Overhaul compared to Earth Overhaul. Travis is just a really, really great player. I came very, very close in game 1 several times. I came actually 2 turns where if I had checked another 5, I had the game. But I would check a 3 on my finishing move, and then I would get killed on the backswing. So that's kind of, I had some really bad luck on my checking on strings, but it was mostly due, all the credit to Travis because he's just an amazing player and he really played some amazing defense. And then in the last round, I played a Void Izuku Midoriya 4. I won the first game very, very quickly. I think on turn 3, I did 20 damage on turn 2, and then I did the last 10 on turn 3. Then he sided out into Void Eraserhead 1. A terrible matchup for me. And he sided into Void Eraserhead 1, and he won game 2, except game 2 took like 45 minutes. So by the time we go to game 3, there's 7 minutes left in the round. And I ended up winning, but I won with like 8 minutes into overtime. I stuck with Mirio. I didn't side into All Might 3. I stuck with Mirio because I only had 7 minutes left in the round. And I knew I had to get a win. A tie wasn't going to get me into top cuts. And so even though Eraserhead was a bad matchup, Mirio has a stronger, aggressive game plan than All Might 3. Since All Might 3 has to commit himself and a foundation early, All Might 3 kind of wants to build up a little bit. And so Mirio had the stronger game plan, and I stuck with Mirio, and I won on turn 3, and I took it down. I took Eraserhead 1, my arch nemesis, down in the last round, and we made it to top cuts in 11th place. So tomorrow I will be playing, I believe I'm playing good All Might 3 in top cuts, and I am really looking forward to the matchup. Last time I made top 16 was when I went to the RLE in Florida with Todoroki, and I lost in round 1, so I didn't get that contender vial seizing. And this time I'm back, and I don't intend to lose in round 1. I really want that contender dual needle lunge. So join me tomorrow, root me on. I'll really appreciate it. And that was my journey through Swiss. I hope you enjoyed it.